Hey guys, Matt here. This is my review of Expendables 3. This movie is directed by Patrick Hughes, and the movie stars Sylvester Stallone, Jason Statham, Dolph Lundgren, Terry Crews, Randy Couture, Jet Li, the normal Expendables crew, with the additions of Mel Gibson, Wesley Snipes, Harrison Ford, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Antonio Banderas, Kelsey Grammer, Glenn Powell, Victor Ortiz, Ronda Rousey, and Kellen Lutz. When one of the Expendables is badly injured on a mission, Barney Ross decides to sideline his group of old veterans for a younger group of brash new recruits. But when they prove they just aren't ready and they're kidnapped by an old enemy, Conrad Stonebanks, played by Mel Gibson, Barney must go after Conrad and finish what he started once and for all. When the trailer for this movie first came out, I was excited because I liked the previous two, but then I saw this movie was rated PG-13, so then I got a little worried. But I saw the movie, nonetheless, it was pretty good. It had its ups and its downs, but it was overall, it was worth watching. Like the other two Expendables movies, the formula of this movie was exactly the same, where you have an action-packed opener, usually a rescue mission, you have your slow middle portion allowing for character development and introducing the villain, and then you have just a huge action scene at the end with everyone involved in the movie. So I said this movie had highs and lows. Let me get to the lows first. First off, Barney sidelines his team of old veterans, and that's okay because we know who they are, we know their stories from the previous movies. But when one of them is injured, and then another character that we love from the other two movies is hardly in this movie. He's in maybe two scenes, and he's just shooting a gun. There's no hand-to-hand, there's no nothing that makes him special in this movie. They could have just cut him out. Second, the rating. Some PG-13 movies can be better than rated R movies, I get that. But this movie has a lot of fast edits, a lot of quick cuts to kind of go away from any red mist or any blood or any guts that may come from a bad guy. This movie really should have been rated R, but they were trying to make money from it, so that's where you get the rating. The biggest problem I have with the movie was when these new recruits come in, the movie spends so much time dedicated to trying to get to know these people to make you like them, but by the end of the movie, you don't care about any of them except for Ronda Rousey. She was the only one that showed potential. Another small problem I had was that Harrison Ford's in this movie, and it's cool to see him again, but when he finally has his time to shine in a helicopter, the helicopter's noise is so loud that you can barely hear him. You can hear Arnold Fine because he's yelling, but you can't really hear Harrison Ford. That was a bit disappointing. Now on to the highs of the movie. Gotta say, this movie was funnier than the other two. Wesley Snipes and Antonio Banderas brought a lot of the comedy. Also, some of the dialogue between Sly and Kelsey Grammer, or Sly and Jason Statham, they were actually funny, and you got the jokes. They weren't just trying to drag out a joke or the jokes fell flat. That didn't happen in this movie. Antonio Banderas is a little crazy, a little silly in this movie, but he was still funny and he still showed that he can be the badass from Desperado. Wesley Snipes was also a pleasant surprise. I didn't expect him to be in this movie as often as he was, but he was cool to watch again. Also, Mel Gibson was great in this movie. He was probably the best villain in all three of the movies. Also, the action scene at the end was really cool because not only did it involve all of the actors and all the characters, but they all had time to shine. They all did their own little thing. You know, you had Dolph Lundgren, you know, with his heavy hitting and his big guns. You had Ronda Rousey with her mixed martial arts. You had Jason Statham and Wesley Snipes competing over who was the better knife man. You even had Arnold yelling and screaming his old lines with a big old gun. And that's another thing. People can complain this movie is all the old actors reflecting on their past glory. That's okay, because what else are they going to do with this point in their careers? I loved it. I loved the line from Wesley Snipes. You have lines from Arnold. You even have a quote from Harrison Ford talking about how he hasn't had this much fun doing action and fighting in years. So it's pretty cool. So because the action was really cool, there were some characters in it I didn't think should have been in it as much, and then at the same token, there were some characters I thought were going to be in a lot more that weren't. I'm going to give Expendables 3 a B-. The rating worked, the villain was awesome, and the action is, well, what you'd expect at this point. So, till next time, guys. See ya.